His reputation was very well known as aggressive and bold.
One about Mike is that he wanted to be excellent.
I think he wanted to outperform. I think it was his nature and his personality. He just wanted to do absolutely the best.
My fellow Americans, as President and Commander-in-Chief, it is my duty to the American people to report that renewed hostile actions against United States ships on the high seas in the Gulf of Tonkin have today required me to order the military forces of the United States to take action in reply.
March 2nd of 65, Rolling Thunder, the air campaign against North Vietnam started, and we were right there at Yankee Station when it started. And then a few months later, the CO left for normal tour of shore duty, and I became the commanding officer. And at that time, I had need for a lieutenant commander operations officer, number 3 in the squadron. And the very first person I thought of was Mike Estocin. And I know where he was, and so from the Philippines, I called him and talked to him about joining me once again and becoming the operations officer of the Golden Dragons. Well, he was enthusiastic about it. He really wanted the job. He wanted to come out and be with me and fly with me again and so forth. So that worked out. We did that.
I was flying an earlier version of the A4. Mike flew the A4 Echo at that time. And that deployment, I flew A4 Charlies. And there is definitely a difference in capability.
When we left, just before we left, we received, instead of the A4 Charlies, which we did have, we received A4 Echoes, the newest version of the Skyhawk. And that allowed the air wing to have the strike capability and conduct Iron Hand missions, which were anti-AAA and SA-2 sites oriented in protection of strike groups.
Damage were called Alpha Strikes, which were groups of about 20 airplanes that would rendezvous by the ship, and there would be the strike pilots would usually lead those, and there would be fighters along and maybe some support airplanes like Iron Hand. And from what I know of the Iron Hand mission, the mission that Mike flew, you had to see the missile to defeat it. Defeating it meant not letting it get you. Mm-hmm. And to destroy the missile site was a higher level of skill. And really, like somewhat like looking down the barrel of a gun. So it took a lot of courage.
U.S. bombing missions against North Vietnam were split between Air Force squadrons stationed in Thailand and naval squadrons that launched from carriers in the Gulf of Tonkin. Naval strikes were carried out by pilots in A-4 Skyhawks, advanced all-weather A-6 Intruders, and late in the campaign, A-7 Corsairs. But it was the pilots of the small and simple Skyhawk, a single-seat light attack aircraft capable of operating from the shorter decks of older carriers, that bore the brunt of offensive operations during Rolling Thunder.
The small Navy tactical airplanes, if they got advance warning from the equipment to be carried, could effectively maneuver most of the time.
Our job was to basically neutralize AAA sites and SA-2 sites in saving the strike group aircraft. And as a result, our exposure was greater, and we lost a couple more aircraft than the average, probably because of the one-on-one deal you had with the AAA side. No question that Mike was hit hard with that aircraft, and he was motionless.
April 25th, 1967. My darling, only 3 more days to go, but all of a sudden they've taken on the appearance of about 3 more weeks. The weather's changing, and we were alerted for 2 alpha strikes to Haiphong tomorrow. There was no thought given to the fact that we start flying at 3 this morning, and we would lose sorties if we considered fatigue and length of working day. Don't mean to cry on your shoulder, but it sort of bugs me. I'm not looking forward to going back there and giving them a chance to shoot 9 more missiles at me. I'm beginning to get the feeling that I've had too many close ones lately, and wonder if my luck, hate that word, is going to stay with me. Hope I get a chance to go to Mass tomorrow.
He did a great job. He was an outstanding carrier aviator. Exactly what you strive to be. He achieved it. And I tell him that. And that he did Pennsylvania, Slippery Rock proud.
April 20th, 1967. My darling, had a very exciting 30 minutes today. Shouldn't tell you about it, but if I don't, you'll read about it, or somebody else will tell you. We went on that A strike to Haiphong today, and as usual, I was the strike leader. About 2 minutes after we crossed the beach, the world erupted. We were dodging SAMs almost constantly. The 6th one that I had to play with got me pretty good, and if I hadn't seen it about 2 seconds before it went off, I might have been in deep trouble. As it was, it damaged the airplane severely, but it was still flyable. I was losing fuel rapidly and had a continual hydraulic failure as I started making tracks for the sea. When I got about 5 miles from the sea, it became apparent that I would only have about 5 minutes more in the air because the fuel gauge was really going down. Called for a tanker and told him to hurry. Saw him coming at me with about 2 minutes of fuel remaining. The join-up was a thing of great beauty, and I hit the basket with about 30 to 45 seconds of fuel left. I stayed plugged in almost the whole way back to the ship, and he pumped 9,500 gallons of fuel into me. I was leaking out almost as fast as he could pump it in. Got back to the ship, and everything worked, and I landed back aboard. Then the stupid airplane burst into flames, and I thought I was in deep trouble. Luckily, it didn't get too much of the forward section of the bird, and I broke all records unstrapping and jumping out of the cockpit. No injuries, and feeling reasonably well. Only 7 days more to go.
I miss him in a manner that professional flyers miss the loss of other aviators they admire and respect. And there will be a little less of me coming back on this cruise because we left Mike behind. I'm sorry, most sincerely, Ed.
For conspicuous gallantry and intrepidity, at the risk of his life, going above and beyond the call of duty. This is the first line of every citation, honoring those who were awarded our nation's highest military honor, the Congressional Medal of Honor. The moment he put on those wings was only eclipsed by the day he married and his 3 daughters were born. As I read Captain Estocin's Medal of Honor citation, I thought to myself, what thoughts were going through his mind as the plane was going down? My heartfelt belief is that there, in particular moment, when the thoughts of any person turn from the seriousness of his own situation to thoughts of people beloved in his life, I believe that Captain Estocin, that was what he was thinking about. I believe that the thoughts were of his bride Marie. His thoughts were of his 3 young daughters, Kathy, Jane, and Susie. That he thought of those who were dearest to his heart. Even though the Medal of Honor citation speaks of Captain Estocin's conspicuous gallantry, I believe that his family was also being honored by the nation for their conspicuous gallantry above and beyond what most of us will ever experience.
Oh boy, this is a real honor to be here today. I've had a lot of tears here in my eyes that really want to just fall out, and I'm trying to control that. So, thank you for everyone being here, and thank you very much to the skipper of Lemoore Naval Air Station, and for the young man who is the skipper for the Golden Dragons.